Hey guys, and welcome to the Geeks and Greeks podcast. The podcast focuses mostly on the NFL, but we also do talk about other sports such as the NBA and MLB, as well as video games and what else is going on in our lives. Step into the conversation of three friends who love sports and who love doing this. You can find us on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Amazon, and Apple podcast platforms, and we're also on Facebook, all with the same moniker, Geeks and Greeks. Thanks for stopping by. We hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Geeks and Greeks podcast. This week has been an interesting week. It's been kind of a quiet week this week for the NFL.
Yeah.
We haven't really had any rumors coming out. We haven't had any firings. We haven't had any just bad takes and quotes except for like TV personalities. I don't know. It's been a weird kind of quiet week for the NFL.
Didn't the Jets just fire their general manager?
They did, but it's the Jets, so does anybody care?
Yeah, I mean, no.
I mean, I will say, as the drafting wise, I thought he did a really good job. Now, when it comes to trading for quarterbacks, he did a really bad job.
Yeah. But we got what's his face? Tommy Cutlets is going to be the quarterback in New York.
Only the Giants would take a third-string quarterback and make him the starter, completely bypass the dude they signed specifically to be the backup.
It's true. But, I mean, if the kid's not ready, you don't want to risk him being injured with how terrible they are this year. You know?
Is Drew Lock not ready? I mean, he's not a rookie. He's been around for a little bit.
Oh. I don't remember who he was, to be honest with you. It's like it's the Giants' second-string quarterback. I couldn't care less.
I only knew it because someone else was talking about it this week.
Oh.
They were talking about how incompetent they are. If you go out and sign someone in free agency specifically to be your backup, and then when it's time for him to play as a backup, you bypass him for the third-string guy.
That is pretty sad.
Because it's a feel-good New York story that, like, nobody actually cares about.
That is hilarious.
So he's like, who's going to want to sign now? You bring someone in telling them you're going to be the backup, which means they should go in next if Dan Jones either gets hurt or can't play, which he can't play, and then you just bypass him for third string.
Yeah. And you're missing the biggest piece of news this week. Saquon Barkley is officially the number one running back in the NFL. Number one yardage, baby.
But is that news, really? I mean, you kind of knew it was happening.
I mean, but it's official, my friend.
Oh, official is all that really matters.
Right? It's in the record books now.
At least for this week.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when Derrick Henry goes off next week.
But yeah, for sure.
All right. So let's move on to QB Survivor. Had no golden immunity to give out this week because none of the bye teams have a surviving quarterback. All right, Pete, who are you putting on the chopping block?
All right. I am going to be putting Jaden Daniels on the chopping block.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys had the pleasure of watching that Eagles game. It was a banger, let me tell you what. But the Eagles got it done, and that's what mattered. It was not as good of a game as I thought it was going to be, and Jaden Daniels played like crap. And it's not the first time, and we're in the top 10, so it's time to pay account for when you play like crap.
Adam, who are you putting on the chopping block?
I'm going to put someone that's actually been here at least once before, I'm putting up Patrick Mahomes again this week.
Oh, yeah, because you keep putting him on.
He had another bad week, and they lost. Like, they lost to a Bills team that they shouldn't have lost to.
Well,
Like,
this is going to be a red letter date because we are putting at the beginning of the season, the top 2 quarterbacks were Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And sure enough, Patrick Mahomes is on, so's Lamar Jackson. All right. But I do have to comment on Pete's choice. The Eagles kicker spotted you 7 points, and you still lost by 8. What the hell, dude?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Elliott. I wonder if that's why. Remember that one game where Sirianni kept going for 2 and everybody kept calling him an idiot? Maybe that's why. Maybe there's something wrong with Elliott that we're not aware of. Like he's got some kind of lingering injury that's not showing up on the injury report, or maybe he's got the yips. I know kickers can be head cases sometimes. I don't know.
And
it's one of those things where, I mean, I don't get it myself because you can go find a kicker on free agency. Washington's kicker was signed like 2 weeks before the season started, so...
But Elliott's been solid up until the last, 3 games.
Yeah, but when you spot him that many points as a kicker, you don't usually get a whole lot of chances past
Yeah.
But I have to say, I kind of predicted Pete would go after Jaden Daniels during the Eagles game. And all I could think of was that kid from The Simpsons going, "He's already dead."
Daniels is also my first pick for elimination this week as well. I think the rookie, it's finally catching up to the rookie himself. It's unsurprising. I mean, NFL teams can react quickly. They can game plan. That's what they do. They've got all the time every week to kind of game plan for stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that he's having issues. It's sad, but it also doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't.
Jaden Daniels, rookie year, you made it to the top 10. Congratulations, but you gotta go.
Yeah. And I'd also want to say that Pat Mahomes did not play very well in that game.
Neither did Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. I mean...
Josh Allen out Mahomes.
It was kind of nuts, that Bills game. I did not expect the Bills to win. That kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
And honestly, Lamar Jackson had a worse game. And I would vote for Lamar Jackson over Patrick Mahomes this week. But again, I feel like I'm kind of giving Patrick Mahomes a pass for being Patrick Mahomes. Because Lamar Jackson has never been voted on before.
No. But he's never had a sub 50 completion rating either.
It's true.
I don't think I've seen a sub 50 completion rating this season.
We had 2 this week. Because Justin Herbert from the Chargers also had a sub 50 completion percentage. He had 47% completion rating. So we had 2 because he was also on my list.
Oh, but I gave him a boost because he didn't have any interceptions.
True, he didn't. But it was that game because I actually watched the Sunday night game between the San Diego, LA, and the Bengals. And those 2 halves were polar opposites. Like, San Diego just cruised through Cincinnati in that first half. And then, something happened at halftime, and Cincinnati's defense just came alive and just ate the Chargers up the entire second half. And they barely squeaked that win out at the last minute. So, that was why I put Herbert up over Lamar.
Maybe. See, I still have a little trouble weighing these different apples and oranges against each other. But to me, interceptions are the worst thing that you can do. So that always hits me the hardest.
True. Well, Herbert may not have had any interceptions. He did lose a fumble on a scramble. So he did have a turnover. Oh. So. But yeah. I can't make excuse. I can't. There's no more protections. And hey, you know what? Like I said, Jaden Daniels made it to the top 10. It's impressive for a rookie, man.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, and with that, I'm sorry, Jane Daniels, you gots to go.
And I gotta say too, like he made it this far and only got put up like one other time, maybe. It
Yeah.
wasn't like he was put up every week and there's happened to be somebody worse than him. Like he did a really good job for his rookie season so far.
I think they were both divisional games because I think the other time he got put up was when he played against the Giants. And like divisional games are always difficult, especially in the East.
Surprisingly, even the Giants put up a fight when it comes to divisional games
That's crazy.
because they don't fight anybody else.
Yeah.
All right, so
Hasta la vista, baby.
Nice.
and then there were 9.
Well,
All right,
Oh,
so
man.
moving on to winners and losers. To recap, we had Adam taking the Lions to win over Jacksonville. Yep.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
and yet somehow after that game, Doug Peterson still has a job.
I don't get it. The worst loss in their franchise history, which has to be saying something because it's Jacksonville.
That's got to be one of the worst losses ever in the history of the NFL. Like,
I mean, yeah.
it has to be.
Oh man.
I wonder if it's a scoregami. We should look that up.
Pete took the Vikings to win over Tennessee. Sure did, 23-13. I took Minnesota to win over Tennessee. Also. And then the losing side of the fence. Adam took the Jets to lose to Indianapolis. Amazingly enough, 28-27, the Colts were able to eke one out.
Called it.
Pete takes the Raiders to lose to Miami. Raiders lose to Miami 34-19. And I took the other half of Adam's success. I took Jacksonville to lose in one of the greatest margins this season.
You're welcome.
And we go 6 for 6. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where it's fun picking some of the closer games, especially when it like with that losers one. Like, I mean, Jets and Colts, that could literally go in any direction.
All right. So are you guys aware of what a scoregami is?
No, what is a scoregami?
All right. So scoregami is this website that tracks the scores of the winners and the losers and how many times those games have happened. And a scoregami is the first time that score has ever happened. That was the first time it has ever been 52-6 in the history of the NFL. That was a scoregami of 1.
You're kidding.
First one I've ever seen. I just looked it up. It's awesome.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Moving to our Week 12 predictions. Adam, who do you think is going to win in Week 12?
So, this is going to be true for both my picks this week, and it relates to what I was saying earlier, where I find it more fun to pick games I think are going to be a lot closer. My pick this week is going to be Seattle beating the Cardinals. This is a divisional rival. This is a divisional matchup, and both teams are playing fairly well right now at this point. And I just think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this game, and I want to see Geno Smith and Kyler Murray come out and see what they do.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
Wow, all right. I had pretty strong feelings for the Seattle game.
Damn.
That actually wasn't the one I clicked, but it worked. All right, Pete. Who's your winner for week 12?
So yeah, I went the opposite way, and I'm picking easy ones. So I actually am going with Miami over New England. Seems like a pretty safe pick. They're +7 on ESPN. So I'm actually surprised I haven't picked Miami before to win.
I mean, Tom thought Chicago over New England was also going to be an easy pick, and look how that turned out for him.
I mean, fair.
How did that even happen?
Dude, you just Happy Gilmore roasted me over picking Seattle. Sorry, not Happy Gilmore. You Billy Madison roasted
No, this is actually what I meant to do. Okay.
Wow. Vastly different.
And Pete, I'm going to trump your easy pick by going even easier to call with the Detroit Lions to win over the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, picking against your own team, my guy.
I know. I tried desperately to get them on the winning side of the fence, and it's just not happening.
You know what? I mean, I'm pretty sure I picked Dallas to lose to Detroit, so I can't really say much.
But they are the Colts are staying true to my prediction. They're going to stay middle of the road all the way up to the end, where they're either going to go just above 500 or just below 500. And at 5-6, I think I'm spot on.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that plays out for you.
Do I have to play it again?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
All right, Adam, who is your loser for week 12?
Okay, so my loser is going to be one of the NFC East rivals. And this was one I think is going to be another really good game this week. I'm picking the Eagles to lose to the Rams this week.
Ooh.
Both teams have been playing really well. Rams had an amazing game last week. Stafford was on point. And I'm really looking forward to this. And yeah, I think the Rams it's going to be, I'd give it a 1.5, maybe a 2-point spread at this. It's going to be close.
Okay.
So I see your point a little bit. Going East Coast to West Coast is really hard to do. But, you do realize the Eagles are coming off a Thursday game, right? They got a 10-day break.
Yep. I also realized that the Eagles tend to shrink up on big games. So, not as bad as Dallas, but hey, you know what? I accept my fate and my loserishness this season.
It's so freaking fitting because I am picking the Dallas Cowboys to lose to the Washington Commanders. And the funny thing is I was thinking about picking New York and Tampa, and I was like, nah, that game's too close to call. And when you're like, oh, I'm picking an NFC rival, I'm like, oh, he's going to pick New York. And you're like, Philly. I was like, hey.
New York's not an actual rival to anybody except New York.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, I love that I was able to bullseye Pete's picks, and then Adam just went completely off the reservation. I actually had Adam's losing team as a possibility for his winning team choice.
I mean, what can I say? I believe in Seattle more than Arizona.
I had I thought you would take the Eagles to win over the Rams because Eagles 8-2 and Rams are 5-5 and
Right, but you have to remember the Rams are also right now on like a 4-game winning streak.
Eagles are on a 6-game winning streak.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you get back to full health.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the Rams started off without, I think it was without Cooper Kupp, and then he got hurt, and Puka was hurt too. So
Yeah.
you had your third string slot receiver as your number one for like 2 games. And while he did okay, there's a reason he's your third string slot receiver.
Yeah. It's like looking in the mirror, though, because if you remember, we had frickin' Dotson as our number 1 receiver for 2 games, and he caught 1 ball in 2 games. And it's like, dude, when you're the number 1 receiver, you can't even catch the damn ball. Like,
I think it's also when Jalen Hurts got eliminated too.
yeah, probably. Oh, it was bad.
And for my loser, I am continuing to play it safe. Eagles are 8-2. You want to know who else is 8-2? Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're playing Cleveland. So I took Cleveland to lose to Pittsburgh.
That's a good bet, I'd say.
That's a fair pick.
Now, if I'm wrong on this, I will lose my shit.
If you're wrong on this, I want to be there when the meltdown happens. We need to hang out Sunday so we can watch the Steelers-Browns game. No other game, just that one game.
Oh man,
That's the new idea for our Patreon if we ever get popular enough to get one. Come watch a stream when Tom's done the picks and watch him freak out when his team picks wrong.
see, I'm okay when I pick wrong, but when I pick a sure thing and then they get blown out by 10 points,
The best one this season by far has been when he picked San Francisco to beat Arizona, and Arizona crushed them. San Francisco's looked like garbage all season.
yeah,
That's true.
They started out with such potential and promise, and then fell apart almost immediately.
I wish I could say that about Dallas, but they didn't even start off with high potential. They started off getting beat,
Yeah.
and then beat one of the worst teams in the league, and that's about it.
You know, it's funny because, like, I really thought Dallas was going to be good because both CeeDee Lamb and Dak got paid. So you figured, like, they'd have a good year. But
Well, it's not even the thing is like in watching the team and everything else, like watching these games, Dak and CeeDee Lamb played really well. They didn't play bad. It's just that the offensive line has gotten old, and they have no run game. So when you can drop 8 guys back into coverage, and you can use a 3-man rush basically to cause, and only get 3 yards a carry, there's nothing you can do. And it also doesn't help that, like, they had so many injuries on the defense. Like, when you're, I think 3 of your top 5 defensive players are hurt for multiple weeks on end from either, like, a high ankle sprain or like a sprained knee and like other things like that. There's only so much you can do. And again, this comes back to just poor team building. The backups weren't that great. They can't tackle for shit. I think they have the lowest tackle rate in the NFL. They can't run. So what are you supposed to do? Dak's got to throw 50 times a game. Now he's hurt. And yeah, his stats don't look great because he's got to throw 50 times. So guess what? You're going to get some interceptions and turnovers.
right.
It's the nature of the beast.
I have to say,
like I said, I can't really say they played bad. I think CeeDee Lamb was playing great when they were still there with Dak, and even then, he still had a decent week last week with Cooper Rush. So it sucks, but I mean, you're gonna have years that happen. So you just gotta kind of take it on the chin and move on and play for next season at this point. So.
Yeah.
I have to say that I had either one of you taking someone in the Kansas City Carolina game because you both had
That's not
that.
fair. Hey, I've already picked Carolina to lose anyway, and I don't remember if I picked Kansas City or not yet. But I'm like, I don't want to waste it on that kind of a game.
A sure thing? Yes, I would, please. Yes, I would like that.
Well, you've seen how sure things turned out for you.
There are sure things, and then there's Chiefs Panthers, and it's like, I think I'm okay betting.
Yeah, this sounds like someone that's betting from last place.
Tied for last place, sir. Tied for last place.
But no, it's just, I don't know, it's one of those things. I mean, like I said, I just find it more fun to kind of get every now and then get some of the closer games because it just kind of mixes stuff up and it just makes things more fun. So.
Spoken from the place of first place.
Absolutely. But even then, at the same point, even if I was in last place, I'm like, guess what? I'm in last place. Why not just go, absolutely batshit crazy and just go for something? What's the worst that happens? I get more in last place?
More last place.
And that brings us to the news section of the podcast where we talk about the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, I really wanted to believe going into this fight that Tyson was actually going to knock him out, but I should have known better. Like, there's no way that Jake Paul would have allowed himself to get knocked out and have a real boxing match with anybody. And
I am shocked that you would imply that this was anything but a pure sportsman contest.
I'm sorry, and part of the contract states if you want to get paid, you got to wait till you can't knock me out in the first 2 rounds. Nothing
and there's
about
a
that's
bonus
legit.
if I get to 4.
Oh my god.
And they went all 8. It didn't even start. Their match didn't even start until midnight.
Yeah, see, I think that was the biggest problem in my opinion, because like I don't really watch boxing, but I watched the match before it, and I don't know the name of the 2 girls that were boxing, but holy shit, like they beat the hell out of each other, and like the one girl's like eyelid was like hanging off her face because the other chick like headbutted her and like broke her eye thing open, and it was like there was blood everywhere and it was super violent. And then Tyson just stood in like Ready Player One position for 5 freaking rounds. Like he didn't do nothing. He didn't block. He didn't throw a punch. And meanwhile, Jake Paul has his arms at his side, and he's just like measuring to see if he can reach him. And like, oh my god, it was so ridiculous that it was like they tried in round 1. Maybe they tried in round 2, but starting in round 3, neither person was trying, and it was so obvious. I don't understand how they didn't call the fight. I don't understand how there's not like repercussions from the industry. And like, had you put this match on first and not had this like huge blowout before it, maybe it wouldn't have looked as bad. I don't know. I don't watch boxing, but yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I'm really glad I didn't waste my time trying to watch this, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, yeah, because in talking to other people that watched it and everything, that's basically what it almost looked like. Like, the way one of my coworkers best described it today was like, it's like during rounds 1 and 2, like, it looked like they were actually, like you said, they were trying to do something. They were kind of circling, kind of throwing some punches and stuff, and like, actually having a semi-legitimate boxing match. But then he said once round 3 started, it's like someone just flipped the switch to off, and everything just shut down.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing after that.
And they drug it out all 8 rounds, which just didn't make sense to me.
And then, like, what? Didn't Jake Paul, like, bow to Tyson and, like, completely expose himself, and Tyson didn't just knock him out?
Yeah.
That was right before the end in round 8.
Yeah.
He kind of ran out of gas like 30 seconds before the line and just, can we just call it here? And it's like, no, you got to finish the fight.
I don't even honestly know what else to say about it other than it's embarrassing, and I don't know how these dudes got paid $60 million for this fight.
The thing is like they should be embarrassed about it because it was the most streamed sporting event of all time, and like at its peak, it was something like 67 million people were watching it at the same time, or something ridiculous, like, and that was what you put on. that's what you showed 60 million people. Like Mike Tyson biting his glove and staring at Jake Paul, who was jumping around like an idiot and no one taking any punches.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm betting Tyson was biting his glove because he wanted so badly to knock him out and couldn't.
I don't know. I don't think Tyson had the ability. Like, he landed a couple of punches on Jake and it barely even phased him. Like, I just think a 58-year-old dude doesn't have any business getting in the ring with a 27-year-old dude when the 27-year-old has been fighting for months or years at this point and has been training for months and years and doesn't really seem to have a lot of time in between fights. And Tyson's like retraining to get back in the ring versus a guy who's like in his prime and on a roll.
I don't know. Like, see, it's one of those things where I heard leading up to this that Tyson's actually he's never really stopped training in boxing. Like, he just hasn't fought, but he's never actually stopped training.
Yeah.
And in watching his training videos, he didn't try to hit him as hard as he was punching in training. Even those shots he did land and did take, they weren't near the shots that he was throwing in training. I think he could have knocked him out if he actually wanted to.
So you think he was pulling his punches?
I think he absolutely was pulling his
100%.
punches.
Really?
When I was watching his training videos leading up to it, it looked like 1999 Mike Tyson. Like, it looked like when he fought Vanderholt, like, he looked like he was in his prime with how quick and how powerful he could throw those punches still. That didn't happen from what I've been told. And it looks like he was pulling everything because basically Jake Paul wouldn't let him get him knocked out if he wanted paid.
When I saw him bite his glove, what you mentioned, I saw a guy that was like, I really want to kill this motherfucker. Please let me hit him as hard as I can. But he's like, no, then you don't get paid. And I'm like, I need money, but I really want to hit him. So he bites his glove.
I don't understand. He wouldn't get paid if he knocked Jake Paul out? How is that even part of the fight?
The contract was something on the lines of he had to get to the third round if he wanted to get paid at all, and you get paid a bonus if they get past the fourth round. And then there was something about the end of the fight. So it's like a snowball effect. The longer you last, the more you get paid. So Tyson was like, go for the money.
Yeah, and I mean at the end as well, like, the judging was clearly biased. It was all 9s and 10s. And it was like, why would you give that 9s and 10s? Like, they didn't even throw a single punch in the round. And it's like, it was just ridiculous. I don't know. I kind of hated everything about it. And it's turned me off from wanting to watch more boxing, that's for sure.
Well, it also kind of goes to prove, too, that we don't have boxers that are marketable anymore.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares about boxing. Like, even... I mean, Mayweather and Pacquiao drew for a little bit back in late 2000s, early 2010s. But then when they finally did fight, like, Pacquiao was pretty much almost a semi-retired boxer by that point. Mm-hmm. He moved into politics. He wasn't really fighting as much as he used to. And, like, before that, I think you had Oscar De La Hoya was around for a while. Like, but you don't have these heavyweights like Tyson and, like, Holyfield and... Even going back even further, like Ali and, Foreman and Frazier, like, the heavyweights is what people want to see when it comes to fights like this. Like, I'm sorry, middleweights, flyweights, bantamweights, they don't sell boxing matches. You want to see two big motherfuckers go in there and just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Like, and Tyson, when he fought, wasn't even that big for a heavyweight, because when he was in his actual active fighting, he weighed in between 215 and 220. Which for a boxing heavyweight, that's small for that class.
I remember
he could almost fight as a light heavyweight at that point.
I remember he was like significantly shorter than a good number of his opponents back.
Yeah, he's only like, I think 5'7", 5'8". He's not very tall.
5'10".
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what he's reporting. So
yeah.
That's
It
also
makes
not
sense
that
for
very
wrestling.
tall for a boxer, I don't think. I think
especially
boxers
for a
are usually,
heavyweight.
yeah.
Like, I mean, because I think when Ali was fighting, he was, I think, around, I think 240 or something.
I remember Holyfield was 6'2" and Tyson was 5'10" when they went at it, and I was like, that does not look like 4-inch difference. He looks like he's towering over that dude.
Yeah.
I think that was part of the draw of Tyson, though, is like everybody wants to see the little guy come up and beat the crap out of the big dude.
Yeah.
It's like
you know, he
Macho
did
Man
it.
Randy Savage. Yeah, and then he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Muggsy Bogues kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite that small, but but yeah, no, it's just one of those things where just boxing isn't marketable, but yet somehow for these kinds of fights, we still get these millions and millions of dollar purses, and I'm like, how do they get the money for? Like, where does it come from?
Yeah, it's weird to me because, like, every once in a while there's a fight that catches my eye and I watch it. But, like, I've probably only watched 10 boxing matches in my entire life. And I know nobody who watches habitual boxing. Like, I know people who watch the Tyson fight,
It's Tyson, yeah.
but that's it. Like, I don't know of anyone who else would watch boxing.
I think the only boxing match I ever actually really sat down and watched like live when it happened was the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. And I only watched that because one of our friends was having a fight night over at his house he bought the match and everything and had it on at his house. Like I didn't even buy it myself. But like
Right.
I was still interested enough to go over and watch the card and watch the fight. But yeah, I don't know how Jake Paul got $40 million off this. I mean, I know he owns like some of the production companies and some of the sponsors and all that stuff, but like that was prize money though. Like where did that prize money come from?
I mean, it was the highest streamed show, or I should say sporting event. There we go.
Event.
Getting it out of my mouth. Jesus. Ever. So like it's definitely drawing. And so this definitely, we can't argue that it's true, but at the same time, like I don't see this consistently drawing.
Oh no, it drew because
Like,
of Tyson. Well, that's
yeah.
the only reason it drew this much money is because it was Tyson. Had it been anybody else, I mean, they would have drawn, but not to that level. Not even close.
Well,
And, like-
literally, this happened a little while ago with Mayweather, and Tyson's fight got more views than the Mayweather fight did.
Yeah. I mean, I think that part of the problem with boxing is for a while it felt like it was very rigged. It felt like there was a lot of like always like dirty things going on in boxing, at least from what I understand. And like a lot of people lost trust that matches were real and that when they ended legitimately. And like then something like this happens and it kind of makes you lose faith in the sport even more. And it's like I'm a big pro wrestling guy. I still just say I like when they're pretending to punch each other. It's better.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is like, I mean, compared to this fight, pro wrestlers actually punch each other more than this fight.
That's absolutely
Like,
true.
They land more real punches than this fight did.
Yeah, absolutely true.
I mean, you know, and I think also a big reason that boxing has fallen out of the mainstream sports media as far as that goes and everything else like that is that, you know, in the like 70s and 80s, and I think maybe even possibly in the early 90s, boxing was on like CBS, ABC. Like they were on your regular, I guess you want to call them your Farmer 5 channels that everybody had. It was on broadcast television. I think actually it was NBC. I think it was the Wide World of Sports on NBC would have like boxing matches and wrestling matches and things like that.
Yeah.
Then you get into the mid to late 90s and everything moved off of that onto cable. And boxing was worse because they were on like HBO only. So unless you had HBO and had parents that were loaded that could afford HBO and the pay-per-views, you weren't watching boxing. It wasn't available to you.
So
Yeah.
you think they kind of are a victim of their own elitism?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, because I think it would still be popular if they had it on like TNT, like Raw. It has been like WWE's Raw has been on TNT for decades at this point. And I think if it had been on a channel that was a lot more accessible, or hell, even if they just had on ESPN, it was cable, but like just about everybody had ESPN that had cable. So that was part of your basic cable package. Just leave it on ESPN, just put it on at like 10, 11 o'clock, something. People would still watch it. But a lot of people back in the 90s couldn't afford HBO. That's what made it so special. If you found out one of your friends had HBO, oh my God, they were the coolest kid in the whole school.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be that kid's friend because everyone wanted to go watch HBO over at their house at like midnight.
It's true.
Yep, because HBO at midnight, you're looking for boxing and nothing else.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So not to nitpick though. WWE is on USA Network. It's AEW that's on TNT Network.
WCW, fine. Yeah, well, they were on TNT for a while.
WWE?
It was before. No, this was like back in like 2001, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Raw was on TNT, and
Yeah.
then they went back to USA after that contract was up. But yeah, like when I first started watching Raw, they were on TNT, not USA. So, and it was funny because I didn't know they had used to be on USA. So when they were like, Raw's moving back to USA, I'm like, what do you mean moving back? They're on TNT. Like, what? But yes, you are correct. That's my mistake. But yeah, but I mean, even USA is still a basic cable channel.
Yeah.
Like at this point, when cable was king, millions of people had USA Network, millions of people had TNT Network, thousands of people had HBO.
Right. And I mean, I think Netflix is the new version of that.
Yeah.
You see Rawls going there now. And so boxing being on Netflix is a good thing. But like, this just made me lose more faith in the sport and did not make me want to watch it. Like,
100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that will bring us to the trivia section of the podcast. I have got a little section called The Brotherhood of the Traveling Quarterback. Now, Josh Johnson has played for 13 NFL teams. Josh McCown has played for 10. Ryan Fitzpatrick has played for 9. And Brian Hoyer has also played for 9. I want you to name teams that have had one of these 4 gentlemen as their starting quarterback during the regular season. Sorry, scratch that. Not starting quarterback. As a regular season quarterback. Because Josh Johnson is a perpetual backup quarterback, and he would get scratched off so many lists if I made it starting quarterback.
I mean, I know he started games, but he's usually a spot starter.
Yeah. So the requirement is that one of these 4 men has been on the regular season roster for NFL teams. Name a team, you get points for how many of these 4 men have played for that team. And if 3 of the 9 teams in the league that no one has played for get mentioned, the game is over.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Stakes are high now.
I'll take one that I know for a fact. I will take Brian Hoyer on the Cleveland Browns.
You just got to say the team, and the Cleveland Browns have 3 of these guys. That's worth 3 points for Adam. Brian Hoyer in 13 and 14, Josh Johnson in 12, and Josh McCown in 15 and 16. All right, Pete.
All right. So I know that Josh McCown played for the Eagles. So I don't know about the rest of them.
Yep, just Josh McCown, 19 and 20 for the Philadelphia Eagles, worth 1 point.
Awesome.
He was still playing in 1920. I'll be honest with you.
Dude, he's only ever played in 1 playoff game, and it was as an Eagle. That's the reason I remember it. He broke down in tears in his press conference afterwards because he was like, "I've always wanted to play in the playoffs, and I've never been able to until he became an Eagle."
I made it,
That's
Mom.
really cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Adam.
Let's see. I'm going to go Miami Dolphins. Because I know Fitzpatrick played for the Dolphins.
Miami has Fitzpatrick only in 19 and 20, same as McCown as the Eagles. All right, Pete.
All right, who did you say first, Adam?
Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns. All right. I believe that Fitzpatrick played for the Jets as well.
New York Jets has 3 points.
Woo!
Johnson in 21, McCown in 17 and 18, and Fitzpatrick in 15 and 16.
I thought McCown might have stopped there too.
Adam.
Let's see. I'm pretty sure that McCown played for Chicago, but the problem is I could also be thinking of his brother, because there was 2 of them in the league at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it was Josh McCown that played in Chicago or Luke McCown that played in Chicago.
There's too many McCowns. I can't keep it straight.
And they were both absolute journeymen. Stuck to one place.
They all piled into the McCown car and drove around.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you want to say?
But I do know, again, another team that I know Fitzpatrick played for. I'm 95% certain that he played in Buffalo.
Buffalo?
Yeah.
Josh Johnson in 15 and Ryan Fitzpatrick 19 to 12. That was his longest stay in a single place.
I think the Bills
There you
drafted
go.
him.
Oh, that would make sense. You kind of stay with your first for a while.
Yeah.
I could very easily be wrong, but I thought the Bills drafted him.
Pete, do you have a guess?
All right. Now I'm starting to feel like I'm walking on landmines because I'm running out of teams to guess. I'm only at my 3rd guess. Let's see. Fitzpatrick played in Miami. We said that. He played in Buffalo. We said that. He played in New York. We said that. Right. I think I'm actually going to say Chicago because I think Adam was right, and I do think it was Josh McCown who played in Chicago.
Chicago is worth 2 points with Brian Hoyer in 16 and Josh McCown 11 to 13.
Okay.
Adam.
Okay. So I know Brian Hoyer moved around a lot. He was I already had New England. We had him in Cleveland. I think those are the only 2 that we've said Hoyer for.
Nobody's said New England yet.
Oh. Well, I know Brian Hoyer played New England, so New England.
New England is worth 1 point with Brian Hoyer. Holy cow. 9 to 11, 17 to 18, 20 to 22.
Hey, he played 3 different times. Does that count for 3 points?
No. Pete.
All right. You said there are only 3 teams that are not a part of this, right?
No, there are 9 teams that are not part of this. If you say 3 of them, the game is
Oh, okay. If we say 3 of them. Got it. That makes me feel a little better. Although this does feel like Exploding Kittens, but adapted for football.
Exploding Pigskins.
Exploding Pigskins, perfect.
And that's the name of the segment now.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I am just gonna guess because it's in my head. The Saints, New Orleans.
Okay.
none of
So
them.
is it 3 total or 3 individual?
3 total.
Okay. We're gonna go San Francisco.
San Francisco is worth 2 points with Brian Hoyer in 17 and Josh Johnson in 14 and 22.
Because he was the four-string quarterback they had to bring in when everybody got hurt.
All right, Pete.
The Minnesota Vikings. Come on, man.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is worth 3 points with Josh Johnson from 8 to 11, Josh McCown in 14, and Ryan Fitzpatrick in 17 to 18.
You got this, Pete. Keep it going.
Let's see. I don't know, man. I can't think of. So McCown. How about Detroit?
Detroit Lions are worth 2 points with Josh Johnson at 19 and Josh McCown in 06.
All right.
06?
06.
Wow. Okay. Houston.
Houston Texans are worth 3 points with Brian Hoyer in 15, Josh Johnson in 17, and Ryan Fitzpatrick at 14. Pete.
How about Indianapolis?
Come on. Indianapolis has never had a quarterback problem. No, it's worth 2 points. Brian Hoyer at 19 and Josh Johnson in 15.
All right.
Nice. Okay. Well, I've run out of teams I know for a fact some of these guys have played on, so now I'm done with the landmine stage that Pete's been at. Let's see. I know that I'm almost positive none of these guys have played for Dallas. If anybody, Josh Johnson may have been like third string at some point. I don't think McCown ever came in. I don't think Hoyer ever came in. I know Fitzpatrick never played in Dallas. You know what? I'm actually going to go with Arizona. I feel like Josh Johnson was in Arizona for a season or two.
No, Josh Johnson never was in Arizona, but it is worth 2 points because Brian Hoyer in 12 and Josh McCown in 2 to 5.
Holy crap, Josh McCown's run forever. I guess that's what happens when you don't play.
It's true.
You beat me to it.
Get 2 games a year, and most of them are like just the fourth quarter.
Hey, you know what? I'll take, making $2-3 million a year to sit on the bench and maybe play for a couple games a season.
Hell yeah.
For 20 years.
Yep. All right. So I got Detroit because I had a vague memory of Josh McCown in a white jersey. And then I just randomly guessed Indianapolis because I am fresh out of options here. I can't remember any other teams these guys played for. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Green Bay. Oh, damn.
And that's the game.
Sorry, guys.
Final score with Adam at 17 and Pete at 10.
Hey, that was still a fun one, though. Did you say, was there one team that all 4 of them played for?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
The best that you had was 3.
Okay.
That's great.
Baltimore was worth 1. Carolina was worth 1. Cincinnati's 2. Denver 1. Rams 1. Raiders 2. Giants won. Pittsburgh won. You
I
guys
thought
got all
about the
big
Giants. I'm
ones.
like, well, we already said one New York dumpster fire. Let's try the other one.
Yeah.
And then
But-
Tennessee and Washington were both one.
Okay.
So
I
not
got-
Dallas.
No, Dallas was one of the buzzers. Good call,
Yeah.
Adam.
Like I said, Johnson would have been one I could have seen him having like a practice squad or like a third string setup or something. But
The 9 buzzers for this game were Atlanta, Dallas, Jacksonville, Kansas City, Chargers, Minnesota, New Orleans, and Seattle.
so I got a couple of trivia ones. We're only going to do one this week though because we're running up on time. But I thought this one would be kind of fun though. So this one is, what do these 4 players all have in common?
Oh, no.
Okay.
So we have John Elway, Ryan Kelly, Marshall Falk, and Andre Rison.
Say them again.
John Elway,
Hmm.
Ryan Kelly, Marshall Falk, and Andre Rison.
I only know who 2 of those people are. I'm never going to be able to get this. It's all on you, Tom.
No, don't put this on me.
My shot in the dark guess is they all have a rushing touchdown.
3 of the 4 have a rushing touchdown.
That was a better guess than I had.
So yeah,
Oh.
I'm impressed on that one. Yeah, 3 of the 4. That was close.
Yeah.
Oh, is it that they were drafted by the Colts?
Yes, good job.
Oh, nice.
I was like, wait a minute. I know 3 of these names.
Which name do you not know?
Ryan Kelly.
He's your current starting center.
I don't know what you're talking about. Never doesn't exist.
Like I understand if you didn't know, like if you didn't recognize Andre Rison maybe because he was drafted back in like 88, 89, something like that. But Ryan Kelly's legitimately your starting center now. This season.
I'm old. I remember the 90s like it was yesterday, but I don't know what I had for breakfast.
Fair enough. Yeah, because Elway was drafted by the Colts but never played for him. Kelly's your starting center now. Falk was also drafted by the Colts and then either traded or left in free agency when they drafted Edgerrin James.
Yep.
And Andre Rison was drafted by the Colts and played there his rookie season and then must have gotten traded because he played in Atlanta for like 8 seasons after that. So he only played there his rookie season.
Like he had like a chip on his shoulder. Like they're gonna
So,
cut me.
yeah.
'cause-
They were all drafted by the Colts. So good job. That was actually
Yeah.
I'm like I was gonna give Tom so much shit if he didn't get it right. 'Cause it was specifically a Colts question.
Yeah.
So we got one. These next 2 should be pretty easy.
Oh, okay.
Third one we'll do 2. Excuse me. Name me the all-time passing and rushing yards leaders for the Philadelphia Eagles.
All-time passing and rushing yards leaders.
So 1 person for passing, 1 person for rushing, 2 separate people.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like one guy. I'm like, who the hell did
2 separate
that?
Sorry, yeah, 2 separate people, 1 for each stat.
Rushing yards is definitely Miles Sanders. Is that correct?
No.
No?
No.
No, not Miles Sanders. Shady McCoy.
There you go.
Sorry. I'm distracted by my jersey.
The funny part is, wasn't Shady's number 26?
It might have been.
It was a 25. I think it was 25.
I think I have a McCoy jersey somewhere. I have to go look for
It's
it.
either 25 or 26. So I'm like, you're either
25.
wearing his jersey or you're one number off.
Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy was 25 in all
25.
4 teams.
Okay.
Yeah. Receiving yard leader.
No, passing.
Passing yard.
I mean, if you want to be receiving, you can. I have it written down, but I'll say good luck to it. I've never heard of this dude before. You may have being in Philly, but I know I have no idea who this dude is for receiving. But yeah, it was passing and then rushing and receiving yards.
All right. Passing. I mean, I feel like it's just McNabb.
Ding. Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, if you want to take a shot at receiving, you can. If not, I can just give it to
Who do I think would be the all-time receiving yards in Philly? I got no clue.
you. You want to even try a guess, Tom, or nah?
I'm not gonna get it.
So, it's a guy by the name of Harold Carmichael.
Harold Carmichael. Nope,
Yeah.
I can't say I know that name.
He had 8,987 receiving yards.
My uncle is probably going to beat the crap out of me if he sees me after he hears this podcast. But
How could you not know?
I mean,
Carmichael.
I'm guessing he played in the 70s or 80s. Like I said, I've never heard of this dude. And
yeah,
when I was thinking about him, like, I don't even know who in the Eagles that would be around long enough to put up those kind of numbers. 'Cause all the receivers I think about were there for like 3 years,
yeah,
4 years. Like,
yeah. It's like, I mean, T.O. was real good when he was here, but he was here for 2 years. Like
Holy
Deshaun
cow.
Jackson was good, but he was there for like 4 years.
4 years. Yeah.
Like,
Harold
I mean, I know
Carmichael
my
was
heart's
an
like, he
Eagle
can't
from
be Todd Pinkston,
71
can
to
it?
83.
Jesus, I wasn't even born when he retired, so
Yeah.
we're good.
So yeah, it's just I'm like, yeah, that's. I figured I'd put it up and as a bonus point maybe, but
Oh man, you want to? Okay, here you go, Pete. He was an active Philadelphia Eagle from 71 to 83. From 98 to 2017, he worked for the Philadelphia Eagles in the administration as the director of player and community relations.
Oh shit!
nice.
I definitely should have known who he was then.
He probably still lives in Philly.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably not wrong about that at all. But I think that's going to be it for us this week. Unless you guys got something else you want to tag on.
No, I'm good.
No.
All right. That'll be it for this episode, guys. We hope you enjoyed it, and we thank you for joining us. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook at Geeks and Greeks and on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple podcast platforms. Thanks for watching, everybody. May the coin toss of life be in your favor. Later.
Go Birds.
Peace. All right, we'll rattle off a little bit of time here, make sure the program starts going, and let's give Adam his wavelength cue.
Allegedly!
Oops, wrong one.